Hi everybody, my name is Gerone, right? And once again, you're joining me on my Geronification channel here on YouTube. Okay, what we're looking at here is self-explanatory. Of course, I've written on here what this is. This is the Chapel of the Holy Cross, and I believe that is, if my memory serves me correctly, this is on location somewhere there at the Grand Canyon in Arizona. Okay. Um, and I'm going to be making a video on this that says shed some light on this. When I ran across this image, I actually was googling images of the Grand Canyon area. For those of you that don't know, I made some amazing discoveries of the location of on the Grand Canyon, which include um, finds of angels, finds of ancient civilizations that no one ever knew of, and and um, and evidence, factual evidence, conclusive evidence that mankind evolved through the location of Grand Canyon. Now, as fascinating, as remarkable, and as bizarre as it may sound, I want to share with you through this video and show you how, through my discoveries, I think I have over 200 plus some videos here, how these findings of mine are all interlinking with each other. And this is what I find amazing and I love about my discovery, because everything that I produce is self-supporting and self-linking of other findings and discoveries that I've actually made. Now, I'm going to link, in this matter, I'm going to link how this is linking everything that I have already discussed with you in my videos. If you haven't seen my other videos, people, you must see them because they are truly, absolutely, truly amazing. Now, here in this video, when I came across this image, I was looking for images of, for that photos of the Grand Canyon area. I came across this. People, this, we have a building, a chapel with a cross. Don't this strike you as unusually bizarre to have a giant cross on a chapel out in the middle of a desolated area in that location of America? Between, mind you, two rocks that are in process of degradation, of deterioration, I like to use the word better, decomposition and erosion. This area of the Grand Canyon is in severe threat of erosion and deterioration. What in the hell would we actually have a chapel being built there, and with that of a larger than life cross? Well, for you it may be bizarre, for you it may be without understanding, until now that I'm going to shed some light on you about why that is there. The cross, your Pope, your Bible, your gods, no one has ever, throughout the ancient history of this symbolization, throughout the times of Constantine through to current, has ever told you what the symbol of the cross actually stands for. I think the best described answer for it, and I heard at one point, is that the cross is a given. It's not an explanation. It just represents the divine. Bullshit. I say it again, bullshit. The cross is a symbolization of the cross-referencing of the genetics of mankind, of Earthkind, with that of creatures of our world and likenesses of mankind of our world. Those creatures include oceanic, man mammals, ancient animals, creatures, reptiles such as dinosaurs, and many other creatures that can genetically contributed to the genetic becoming of mankind that you knew nothing about until I started releasing these informations in my videos. Through my paranormal experience and encounter, I have conclusively linked the cross to symbolizing that of the cross-referencing of mankind's genes. In practically every ancient civilization, this is referenced. The cross is also on Lord Bakal's burial tomb, ancient Maya king Lord Bakal, as we know him. It's linked to the Egyptian Ankhs and many other references. It's just that our understanding of it have taken on more of a divine sense than of that of a logical sense, of course, until now. Now, so what is the cross doing here? This is the chapel of the Holy Cross. It's my position that that giant cross is there because not probably the actual parishioners of the church, but the designers, the original idea, the concept behind having that there stems from the ancient idea that all life forms emerged from that location and was cross-referenced and crossed over in that location. And the message that's being understood here, the message that's being stated is that those that created this structure knew that, and those that created that structure continues the process of the genetic manipulation of mankind, the cross-referencing of mankind's genes, which is a symbolization that originates from our ancestors that were of history and those that of not of history that you know nothing about, which I mentioned some of them in my videos. This symbol is a projection of the cross-referencing of mankind's genes. It's a symbol that is symbolic of that of a cauldron, cult-like a ritual that calls for the cross-referencing of the blood, the semen, the genetics of man with that of animals, with that of other beings, other living beings of our world, that furthers the process of a genetic contamination and manipulation process that creates new genes. That cross is not just on that location for not no any given symbolic reasoning and rationale. That cross is at the Grand Canyon for the same reason that these angelic-like figures appears on the Vishnu portion of the Grand Canyon. That cross is a symbolization that that location is God's kingdom. Again, if you Google photo of the Grand Canyon, if you Google photo of the Grand Canyon, of the Grand Canyon banner, I'm sorry, photo of the Grand Canyon National Park banner. This image will come up. You download this image, enlarge it to this location here, and the same exact image is on this side here. For the reason for these being on both sides, I'm calling this the gateway entrance to God's kingdom. Back here, I believe the Zoroaster temple, and again, I made discoveries back there. This entire Vishnu portion of the Grand Canyon that runs along the Colorado River, which has gravely been eroded at this point, it's my position that there are readable glyphs along the entire portion of that canyon wall. This specific location right here, through my paranormal experience and encounter, I was drawn to that location, and I discovered this to be on the side of that wall. There's the K from that park. Drop my pen. There's the hook of the top of the K, which is here, which will point you to that direction. There's also other images, and I pointed out that in a smaller version of this, you'll see the face of a man right there. His eyes, his nose, his beard, and his mouth. The hook almost actually goes right into the man's mouth, which is an image of that, of the likenesses of what we suspect to be that of God. And then there's his messengers, the cherubs, the angels, the twins, shown emerging from the mouth of that of the great white shark. For those of you that have that likeness of those twins, those angels, those angelic-like figures, those twins have always been in our minds. This is not no Photoshop, people. What is this doing? There's the chin, there's the mouth, there's the nose. She's looking at you. There's her right eye, there's her left eye. Here's her head and hair. Her wings are that of a megalodon shark, showing you that she's emerging from the body of that megalodon shark. My position, people, is that what we have been taught to understand about religion, about reality, and about who we genetically are is a lie. You turn the image upside down. I give you reptilians and angels reptilians and aliens from the angels. The mouth, the eye, the eyebrow, the head, the mouth. There it is. It's my position, people, that it has always been known who we genetically are. Look at us. Now, I'm going to take this back down because I have a video on this if you want to see this. Alright, so I'm going to take this back down as compelling that. But look at the symbol. Look at these beings, people. Lost symbol? Call it that if you will. I call this beyond the Holy Grail. These ancient mountainsides, such as that on location in the Grand Canyon in North America, where I'm contending that all life forms came from, show us who we are, were our original art canvases before our ancient ancestors understood to make these drawings on the side of, like that in ancient Egypt and ancient Angkor Wat and all of these other locations. These glyphs were created on the side of our world's ancient mountains. And I know how they were done. I'm going to leave you with that for a minute. Let's go back to the cross. Did I let the cross go or no? Because that's what this video is about. I have a lot of images up on that there. There's a close-up of those angels, people. You see their faces, right? See the girls, the twins' mouth. See the mouth, the nose, the cheeks. There's the right cheek. There's the left cheek. There's the right eye. There's the left eye. There's the forehead. There's the hair. And they're twins. You see that, right, people? Just like these girls are. Look. Just like those angels are right there. Same exact face. Except this was created in the future sense, and this was created in the present sense. I mean, in the past sense, but in a portion of the Grand Canyon that's supposedly supposed to be 1.7 million years old. But yet, this stuff is related back to the beginning and the creation of mankind, which dates beyond that. And it shows you the creatures, which is one of them, genetic contributors, the megalodon shark from which we evolved. And then if you turn it over, this is the before what these creatures look like. Reptiles. And I wish I had my Gillman picture up here, but I guess I don't right now. But the creature that actually this is mimicking. Oh, shit. Let me see if I can find that right quick. You keep looking at those aliens for a minute, and let me see if I can find that right quick. What that is mimicking. The creatures that these beings are mimicking, and look at this, people. This is very compelling. I'm surprised that I am not viral behind this. Look at this. You have never and never will ever see anything like that again, except from me. This is the creature from the Black Lagoon, a reptilian man from a movie, a blockbuster movie. That's what is showing you that these creatures are. This is a reverse side of the likenesses that were created through the process of these creatures, which emerged, the genetics of these creatures that were split and emerged onto land. Mankind created out of chemistry of the oceanic fish of our world, which should not be surprising since we live in a water world. Now, I want to take us back to that. I want to take us back to this cross being on that location. This cross symbolizes everything that I have just shown you and the knowledge contained therein about the evolutionary process, the passage, and the understanding behind which mankind was created. This cross is anchored between two rocks of the Grand Canyon mass to symbolize that through the earth of this location, cross-referencing of creatures calls for the beings that erected this structure. Again, let me show you something else. Another find of mine on the Grand Canyon location are another set of glyphs in another Vishnu portion of the Grand Canyon. And almost as if they were Egyptian glyphs, but these are more so in a Hindu sense, along the Grand Canyon wall. You see my arrows, there's a chin, there's a mouth, there's a nose, there's an eye socket, there's a being with a snake, a horn like curled over feature attached to his head, and then there's a wing. I'm going to show you a close-up of what that actually is, if I have it here. And there's that being right there. There's his jaw, coming around his chin, his bottom lip, his mouth opening, his top lip, coming around to his nose. Look at how the defining features in his cheekbone, strong defining features in his cheekbone, shows you muscle and tissue which attaches a wing on the back of this being's head. This is the side of that Grand Canyon wall, along with other inscriptions that I can see through my multi-dimensional sense of being and sense of awareness that allows me to read what is on the side of that canyon wall. Now, for those of you that are still in disbelief, here is another portion of the Grand Canyon wall, and I wish that I had. I'm going to set this up here. And I have actually gave these eyes. I'm going to see if I. This is a passageway on the Grand Canyon. Let me see if I have the original picture so we can use. Which would actually make this a whole lot more compelling. I'm looking, people, bear with me. And for whatever reason, I don't have the original image here. But I have a video on this. This is a path on, that's a path, the image of a path on the Grand Canyon. And on the side of the path, the walkway, is, here it is here. It's a little light. But here's the original image. You see this? That's the canyon, the Colorado River down below. Here's a path, and on the side of the wall and off on an angle, you know what can be seen? The first image of an ape right there. There's the forehead, there's the eye, there's the nostril, there's the mouth. Then right next below that, beside that, is a multi-dimensional image of that of an ape. The nose, the left eye socket and the right eye socket, the mouth, and then the chin. And basically, the reason why it looks like this face, this multi-dimensional face, is designed to look towards us and forward as well. And this is the reason why it looks the way it does. Then next to that is a creature almost like the behemoth, the dog, here. And then you see a skeletal structure right there, along with teeth in his mouth, an eye socket, a head, a neckline, and it shows you how from our first ape ancestors, the likeness of ape came, and then the likenesses of mankind. Reptilian mankind, first of all. And this is what is actually here. Amazing, huh? Well, again, I'm going to take you back to the cross. The message that is being stated here is that through the earth of this location, mankind was created through a genetic bridging manipulation that calls for the cross-referencing of creatures of this location. Cross-referencing of creatures on this location through this earth. And this is the reason why this building, this structure, is on this location to send that message. A location that everyone knows that is deteriorating, that is being eroded away. Why would you build a multi-million-dollar plex in such a desolated, eroded away area, except for the cult-like symbolic rationale and reasoning of what I just said? Except for that reason alone. Think about it. This is a hostile and friendly environment to put a church, let alone a very expensive church. It was important for that cross to be there to send a symbolic message, a soul sender, if you will. There's more to this than you could possibly ever know. I hold the key to it all, to the secret behind a lot of these unusual and bizarre scenarios in religion that seem to never end, that no one else has the story and punchline for except for me. How? I have 200 plus videos here. How can I take these unusual and unsensible scenarios and put them in a context that where they are now understandable and there's reasoning there? You know why? Because everything in our world is linking one another. And it all has the same message. Our planet is an aquarium. Our planet, which is now something like 85% water, back towards when it, because our planet is 4 billion years old, it's only logical, people, that this aquarium that we live in, which is only 85% of water now, at one point earlier on, as this planet was stalling out, was a full-blown fish tank. So, having said that, logically stated, doesn't it make sense that these angelic-like figures that are here now, shown coming from, emerging from the bodies of megalodon sharks instead of having wings, that they would emerge from the oceanic waters, and this is the big secret behind who we are, and this is how reptiles and reptilians and aliens came in the history of mankind? They have your head looking towards the clouds and beyond, when it is through our oceanic water properties, such as the Colorado River, from which we actually emerged, through a chemistry that came from above and from beyond. You know, what's angering about all of this is that the only way that entities that created this, and religious sect groups that created this, the only way that they can control you, control your mind, control your finances, and control and enjoy a superpower that they are, like that of royalty and all that, is through the hidden knowledge behind who you are. By me stripping them of their power and giving you an equal playing field in so much of having the knowledge that they have and enjoy, they can no longer enjoy the secrecy behind this. And having said that, it gives you a sense of power, a sense of serenity, of knowing who you truly are and how you can truly be identified with the creatures of this planet from which you were genetically created and evolved therefrom. And where is your true place in that of this universe? In the sense of being now, the past, and in the present. This is why these people, not just them, it's many people that I can link to this. Many ancient civilizations that were bridged over, genetically crossed over. It's everything in totality that has been kept from you, which calls for things like this to go undetected, under the radar, slip past and pass on to you under the radar, and they don't make no sense. I'm sure that the people of this organization, of this entity, of this religious group, had to say, well, why in the world is we building a multi-million-dollar church out here in this place where the rocks are eroding everywhere around? I mean, there's millions of other places we could possibly put this. It's the symbolic energy of this location, the symbolic chemistry of this location, from which life forms evolved. It's the same rationale and reasoning why these glyphs appear on the side of the Grand Canyon. There's an alignment with these beings. There's an alignment with these beings in connection with space and above. A celestial alignment with space to this location. And this is why our ancestors began in this location in the first place. And this is why there is evidence of them being left. Now, you're probably stating to yourself, well, how come no one else was ever able to see this? I mean, it's before you, and you know that this is not, those of you that are wise know that this is not no Photoshop, because you can go to any, all these images are governmental images, and you can go to archive images. And now that I've shown them to you, you can see them. You know why you cannot, no one never found them, or never seen them before. In fact, there is some information about this being found, but on the inside of the canyon. There was this Kincaid fellow back in 1901, and it was reported in the Arizona Gazette in 1901, I believe, or 1908, that found a cave on location of the Grand Canyon, and he found a cache of Hindu artifacts, which was beyond that of anything of any magnitude found in Egypt. Subsequently, the Smithsonian Institute was reportedly had sent out explorers out on that location to do an exploration of the location, and then the story went away. So check it out: Kincaid, Arizona Gazette, Hindu artifacts found in the Grand Canyon, in a cave in the Grand Canyon in 1901 or 1908. It's these cover-ups, which hid the identity from which we truly are. Unbeknownst to the Smithsonian Institute and the others that covered that up back then, is that in order to see this stuff on the walls, the writing on the walls, you have to have a multidimensional sense of awareness and a multidimensional sense of vision, a multidimensional sense of who you genetically are. And there's a spiritual awakening within yourself, and an opening and an understanding that derives therefrom. And no matter how much covering up you do, I can go anywhere in the world and do this, because you know why? Through my genuine experience and encounter, I am one with everything in existence. And although I never was ever at any of these locations, just like a sense, we have 6 senses. So we think. Through a sense that I was gifted, I can go globally and do this here. I see things in a multidimensional sense and understand what they are and how they got there. And not just that, people. I can link them and read them in the order of which they were created and they came. My name is Gerone Wright. You're joining me on my Geronification channel, and that it's my position that what is going on here is somewhat known, and when you see structures like this that seem unusual, just like a lot of those Renaissance artworks that depict ancient biblical figures, striking poses or in scenarios that seem so bizarre and unusual, just as unusual as this seems here in this location where there is erosion taking place. Think about the underlying symbolic message that is being stated. I've discovered that all mankind emerged from the Grand Canyon, and there are angelic-like figures that have no business being there. No business whatsoever. I don't care how you do the math on this. And then there's other creatures showing you how there was an emergence of all of these creatures, genetic bridging that calls for likenesses of other beings and mutations of ancestors you know nothing about. But look at this, people. And then here you have this, a cross. Not just a cross, but me describing that the cross is a symbolization of the cross-referencing of the genes, the genetics of the being of the mankind and other creatures, which calls for those in likeness that created this structure. And this is why that building is on this location between two rock formations and in front of a rock formation that is in threat of erosion. A multi-million-dollar building, larger than life, with a larger than life cross, in soil and in a location that is severely threatened by erosion. The location has a symbolic meaning that I can link you with to that in space. My name is Gerone Wright. You're watching my Geronification channel, and I hope that the understanding that I give you in this is one now that makes sense for you, because everything that follows, everything around you that does not make sense suddenly now does. My name is Gerone Wright. You're watching my Geronification channel. It's my position that this building, its location, the cross symbolization are all here. This is the chapel of the Holy Cross. For all of the above that I just stated, and for the realization that this location of the Grand Canyon is in celestial alignment with the location in our solar system, which I can define. Just as I read this to you, I can read to you the location that this is in celestial alignment with in space, and why, and how this is all possible. Because I am genuinely paranormally linked to everything that I am stating to you. My name is Gerone Wright. Thank you for watching my Geronification channel. Hi everybody, my name is Gerone Wright, and once again you're joining me on my Geronification channel here on YouTube. Okay, what we're looking at here is self-explanatory. Of course, I've written on here what this is. This is the Chapel of the Holy Cross, and I believe that is, if my memory serves me correctly, this is on location somewhere there at the Grand Canyon in Arizona. Okay, and I'm going to be making a video on this that shed some light on this. when I ran across this image, I actually was googling images of the Grand Canyon area. For those of you that don't know, I made some amazing discoveries of the location of on the Grand Canyon, which include um, finds of angels, finds of angels with you in my videos. If you haven't seen my other videos, people, you must see them because they are truly, absolutely, truly amazing. Now, here in this video, when I came across this image, I was looking for images of for that photos of the Grand Canyon area. I came across this. People, this we have a building, a chapel with a cross. Don't this strike you as unusually bizarre to have a giant cross on a chapel out in the middle of a desolated area in that location of America? Between, mind you, two rocks that are in ancient civilizations that no one ever knew of, and and um and evidence, factual evidence, conclusive evidence that mankind evolved through the location of Grand Canyon. Now, as fascinating, as remarkable, and as bizarre as it may sound, I want to share with you through this video and show you how, through my discoveries, I think I have over 200 plus some videos here, how these findings of mine are all interlinking with each other. And this is what I find amazing and I love about my discovery, because everything that I produce is self-supporting and self-linking of other findings and discoveries that I've actually made. Now, I'm going to link, in this matter, I'm going to link how this is linking everything that I have already this across. Your Pope, your Bible, your gods. No one has ever, throughout the ancient history of this symbolization, throughout the times of Constantine through to current, has ever told you what the symbol of the cross actually stands for. I think the best described answer for it, and I heard at one point, is that the cross is a given. It's not an explanation. It just represents the divine. Bullshit. I say it again, bullshit. The cross is a symbolization of the cross referencing of the process of degradation, of deterioration. I like to use the word better, decomposition and erosion. This area of the Grand Canyon is in severe threat of erosion and deterioration. What in the hell would we actually have a chapel being built there, and with that of a larger than life cross? Well, for you it may be bizarre, for you it may be without understanding, until now that I'm going to shed some light on you about why that is there.